Alright guys, this is my first tutorial. I'm super excited about this new update and these new brushes that I am making a tutorial. I'm now in the updated version of Tilt Brush, and there's some really cool features. When you first come in, there's new sound effects and this carousel kind of thing here where you have the sketchbook, save, clear, a new beginner mode, your upload, and then more options. Here's the settings. There's a few changes on this screen. So this is a new section right here, stroke simplification. Right now it's on original, and then you can, it's kind of loud. You can change it, mangled. Wow. Level 987654321 original. Let's go to mangled update. So once you move it, you have to update it here. No change in sketch. Let me go back to original. Update. Oh, well, I don't have a sketch, so let's make something real quick. So let me go back. Settings, original stroke, mangled, update. Sketch is 69% smaller. So if you see, it's very edgy and like has corners. Let's do like something on a guide. Yeah, all these new sounds. All right, so let's see if anything changes. Oh, yeah, wow. Oh, that's cool when you scale. Yeah, that was weird. So it's on mangled. I guess that's mangled. Let's see. I'd be interested to know, like, if you draw like a face, how it would end up looking. That's really good for like, abstract or something. So that's that. Let's see if it changes when I change it back. If it changes like the whole picture. I'm just gonna go all the way just for contrast's sake. Update. Yeah, it changes it all back. I'm assuming that it's gonna save space, like in regards to the sketch cost. If it's all the way, on like mangled versus original, but that's just I guess. Really don't know yet. But that's pretty interesting. Alright. So let me turn the lights on a little higher here. There we go. Yeah, a lot of new sounds. A quick thing I just wanted to say that I've learned, I don't know if anybody else knows about this, but these two buttons, when you press them to scale yourself, because I was always like trying to put the floor back and all this. So all you do is you press these two at the same time, and it will center your floor in the middle of your play area. So even if you're not in the play area, or I mean in the middle of the play area, it will center your, everything in the middle of your play area. So if you ever just want to get back to center, that's how you do it. Just a quick little tip that I figured out a couple weeks ago after trying to like figure, too much work. All right, so let's get into the fun stuff. So you didn't get to really see when you first come in. This is actually glowing, and it really, you see the ring? It's glowing blue, just like this blue. Yeah. And it just kind of draws your attention to like the new stuff. This beginner mode, I was reading that it I don't know, it gives you like a lock feature, but I didn't notice anything different. Oh, okay. It's on beginner mode and I'm trying to press the top button to get my little menu right here, like from the controller, and it doesn't work. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know what other changes that brings, but I probably won't like them, so I'm gonna go back to advanced. You know what? I never figured out what that's for. If anybody knows, yeah, let me know. Okay, so as you can see, like some of the icons are in different places. Like this used to be here. I think this used to be up here. This is cool because this is open and available. These were down here. Yeah, so it's moved around a little bit. This is stationary, so it goes with the controller. So even if I move, my palette and everything, this stays here. So, and that's really cool because, these are all your control features and your more options for your settings or your labs, so that's really neat. I like that change. On your labs, there is going to be a new button here. And so now with the model pin, you can actually pin your models in place. So instead of having to worry about when you're painting over it, like accidentally selecting it and moving it, you can pin it. You can get it right where you want. Actually, you can lock it too. I don't know if, I guess we all know this by now, but you can lock it and it centers it to the axis, the XY axis. And then you let go of it, place it wherever you want, and then you can now pin it in place. And when you're ready to unpin it, you could just press on the thumb pad and it gives you a red X. And then you just touch it and you can be done with it. And it's the same thing as when you want to pin like your guide. So when you press the front button, the trigger, sorry, it will pin it. So it pins it wherever you put it. If you want to unpin it, you do the same thing. So you select it with the side button, like you're going to move it, and then you press the trigger again. So, the pin flies off. That's pretty cool. And then, so they have that feature here, basically, but it's easier. So I really like this because I just recently found out about, the whole pinning with the trigger, and it's very handy, because I use the guides a lot. I do really, really big pictures. I don't know if you guys have ever seen my art. I use the guides a lot to make lots of things. So I'll be coming out with a lot of tutorials pretty soon. This is my first one. I just got super excited about these new brushes and features, so I wanted to just do this real quick. But anyway, getting back on track. So the trouble was when you use it, you have to hold on to it, and I have a shaky hand. Like I don't know why. So say I have it locked. Oops, not that one. Say I have it locked in place. So I already have the side button going, I have this button going, and then I have to press the trigger. It's just not impossible. It's just a lot easier with this button. So let's do it with the button. So say I'm like, okay, I want it right there and drop it. So you let go, it's not locked. But a lot of times you're going to want to say like, oh, is it in place? Look at everything before you lock it in place. and then you make these fine adjustments or whatever. And then you have to go lock it, which means you have to select it again and it might move out of place. So, you have to select it to pull the trigger and lock it, pin it in there. So basically, I was having the trouble of having to make all these minor, like tiny little adjustments because I would try to pin it. And to do that, you have to select it again. With this, the point is that you don't have to select it again. So once it's in place, all you do is touch it. Thank you, Google. And then to unselect it or unpin it, sorry. That sounds so like celestial. To unpin it, you just press the trigger and hey, oh, okay, yeah. So it's right in front of my face. So it's kind of like deselecting. You press this button and it turns it into your X. Okay, and the selection is right on the tip. So that was a long explanation of what that's for. But hopefully it helped you. So anyways, if you want to lock it again in place, always look at your pads, your thumb pads, because they're gonna give you like all these additional features that you can, activate with whatever tool you have on your controller. So I want to lock it in place. It's on the unlock, so I'm gonna press this. Gives me my pin, and then I just boom right there. All right, moving on. Let's get this out of here. Again, I feel like it's too dark in here. Yeah, okay. Let's see. So we all know these other buttons. If you're new to Tilt Brush and you're watching this is actually a very advanced tutorial. And like I said, I will be coming out with very basic. I mean, there's very basic tutorials out there right now, but I'm gonna start my tutorials series, and I will start with literally the basics, like what computer you need, how to open files, all that kind of stuff. So, all the basic stuff here too. So that's pretty much all that's new on that. And all right, so let's get to the fun stuff. The brushes, all the way on the first one. I don't know why when I select or whatever, I have my arm like way back. So I don't see what's going on my controller half the time. So I don't know, I just noticed my thumb pad one day when I was selecting brushes and I was like, what's that one, Anyways, it turns out that I'm on the first brush page and there's more pages. So just like you can go here, look at the thumb pad, that's number 4. There's a whole new page of brushes, which is awesome. So anyways, it's telling you what page you're on, but you can also scroll with your thumb. If you just don't want to go here, you can go like this with your thumb. Ta-da! Yeah, anyway. Something that it's like a necessity, right? It's fun. But anyway, all right, so let's get to it. Oil paint, ink, thick paint, wet paint. This is a new one. This one is very shiny and very sheen. So it still sounds like, these brushes, I think. You can see all that shine. It is super shiny. I mean, it looks wet, or it looks like plastic, something like that. So I'm thinking, how can I use this in like a structure, like a wall or something? I really like this. It makes me want to like touch it. I feel like it's thick. It has like all the texture in it makes it look like it's a thick bodied paint or something. But again, if you look here, It's just all illusion. It's a super flat brush stroke. So yeah, if you like, again, to answer my own question, what would happen if I want to, make like a wall out of this? It's gonna have irregular edges, so not the best for that. Marker, on the other hand, is super straight. Almost. I mean, it's got like a little taper here, but I always correct that. But it's got super straight edges for walls and stuff. So the next brush is not on here, so that's the only new one on this first page. And then let's do my little trick. Wow, I feel so cool. So light, fire, embers, and smoke. Snow, rainbow, stars, velvet, waveform. There's nothing new on this second page, so yeah, 3. Course burst. Okay, here we go. Dr. Wiggles. It's like a little pencil icon, and it's called Dr. Wiggles, and this is why. It is wiggly. And it's matte. It's not shiny at all. Sorry, I move around a lot. Oops. Let's get that ruler off. Now it does cast a shadow. So this one does accept light. It's matte and it does cast a shadow. So that's pretty cool. You can see the shadow down here. So that was pretty cool. And at first when I did this, because I already went in here and I was like going crazy on all the new brushes, right? And I was like, okay, I need to calm down and, so for my tutorial. I was like, what to use this brush for? The first thing and only thing I've thought of so far is like a wave, like a motion of water. And I think I'm gonna get the artist name, but there's an artist that he made a wave and a surfer. So I'm gonna just kind of emulate that a little bit real quick with our next new brush. So electricity, these are all the same, and then here's the next new one. It's called Cell Vinyl. And let's go ahead and make that lighter because I'm gonna make a surfboard with that. This one, let me put it up here, is outlined in like a black. So the other brush that looks like this straight on is the Toon brush, if you remember, like that. You know what I mean? It's got that black kind of outline, but the big difference is the Toon brush is 3D. The Cell brush is not 3D, it's flat. So this one's pretty cool too for like a surfboard. So let's make that. I get distracted very easily, sorry. So let's go ahead. It's a man-made object, so let's put that straight edge on. There we go. Take that off because now I want to grab a marker and just make like a quick little stick figure guy. I'm not the greatest at figures, by the way. But, oops, see, where's his knee? All right. What do people do when they're on a surfboard? They're like hands out and just like, yeah, balance. Something like that. So yeah, that's what I thought about when I saw this brush. I was like, ooh, like water or it could be any color. So I don't know what else. Anything with maybe like a fluid motion or something, as water. Let's add like start painting a picture here. Right, got a wave going on. Oh, all right. Again, I will. When I made this, like I thought of that artist who made the wave already, and his is his is a lot better. So I will put a link in the description um, of his name and stuff, so you can check him out. But yeah. So again, with the cell brush, that's the next one. Where is it at? There we go. So it's called cell vinyl, and I guess it kind of looks like vinyl. I mean, it has no texture, so I'm not really sure why they call it cell vinyl. But I mean, I like it. So let's make like a flower. When I think of a flower, I always think of like pink or red or something. I don't know why. And when you see my tutorials, when I finally make them, you'll see that I like to just use one brush stroke. And what I mean by that is, I know this is kind of off subject, is when you select stuff, like say I want to select this flower and move it, or say I want to like copy this flower and make like, 2030 for like a bush or something. When you're selecting like all of it together, it takes a lot longer to select individual brush strokes. Where if you have just one long brush stroke, if it's possible, it just takes one touch and you selected the whole thing. So I'm highly aware of this issue. I call it an issue because to me it's an issue. Because I make huge, like I fill this whole space. Let me just dinosaur size it over here. So I fill like all of this in my artwork most of the time. So when you go into, if you can even go into some of my artwork, because it's such a huge file, you're totally immersed in my art, and I think that's what every artist wants, But anyways, back on the subject. So yeah, so here's a flower, and the cool thing about this is that it's got those black lines like all around, so it kind of gives it like a illustrative look to it, and yeah, on some things like you want an outline. The only thing is it's always gonna be black. So yeah, it's very illustrative. The other thing too is, let me pick a different color. Like, I never know what this thing is at. Let's just say you want to fill like this wall. You're gonna have to like go back and forth, and it's bringing those outlines. So that's just something you would have to calculate, into your whatever you're doing. So that might be a cool effect for something, but if that's not what you're wanting, that's just something you would have to use or not use. It really creates like a layered look. That's kind of cool. You know what? It reminds me of stained glass. So this is all one brush stroke. So let me try and do like a stained glass. That would be pretty cool. I mean, if you really get, you draw a picture, it would look a lot better. But here, I'm just really just trying to look for the effect. So yeah, it looks like a stained glass kind of. yeah, so that's that one. I'll just put that over here, example. Let's see. Still got, this is like my favorite one. I don't know why, it's so cute. Anyways, Petal. This is where most of the new brushes are going to be on your new fourth page. So, Petal. Now, oh, well, you can already see it. I thought it was going to be like one petal, but this thing makes like a whole flower. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. It's tapered on the end, and then as you go further, the opening remains the same depending on the size of your brush. It's like all the way closed here, and then it starts to have like a cracked opening, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger all the way around. So let's just say you wanted this as like the base of your flowers. Let's see. You know, the little, I forget what they're called, the bottom parts of the flower. So I don't know if you saw that. How do we lighten the ground? Seriously. That might be alright. Okay. Just get a lighter color. Alright. So I was trying to figure out what the direction is. It's from the pull down. So if I'm going this way in that direction, the base starts right here. If I'm going in this direction that way, the base is starting here. So you see what I'm saying? So pulling down, it's starting up here, going upwards, it starts here. There's a lot of uses for this. Obviously, you can just make like a bunch of grass or plants or something. That looks pretty cool, you know. And so this brush stroke does accept light. You can see there's shadowing, and then it's darker inside and then lighter on the outside. So that's good. Let me go back to this one. This one does not accept light, and nor does it cast a shadow. I think even the highlighters don't cast a shadow either. I don't think I ever noticed. I mean, it's highlighter, so I never really look for a shadow. But yeah, it's like the markers. They don't accept light or cast a shadow. This one does. You see the shadow here. And it doesn't have a shine, it's matte. But it does give shadow. And this one is major everything. I love that one. So yeah, so you see that. And then it closes the further away. It gets smaller the further away you get. So if you just come back and say you want, the bottom part of that flower, you could just like leave it like there. And then either change the color to like, again, pink, right? Because that's every flower color, according to a girl. And then just bring like a layered look there. It kind of looks like a succulent a little bit. Of course, you're going to want to start, if you see where I started the green and then here's the pink, I went up a little bit more with my ring. And the ring is what? Like the area of coverage. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do we have a name for that yet? So anyways, I'm going to bring that up a little higher past the pink one, just a little bit. And then maybe bring another one just to give that layered look. And you could turn this and twist it and set it like wherever. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. And it's the same as with any brush stroke. You can copy and paste. You can change the color of it. I do this so much in my art because this is virtual reality and I can. Love it. Oops. Just make sure it's not interfering on another piece. So that's cool. Another thing real quick I want to show you, I don't know if you can see this very well, but you see how it does interfere and it gives it a different look? I do that a lot for layering. Yeah, just like that. See, and now it looks like I went and I put different brush strokes in there and I took my time. But no, I just did a quick little thing. So yeah, look at that, that's pretty cool. Flowers, grass. I would love to see what other, other artists use that for. Here's like the huge version. So it's like a star too. Right now I'm seeing a diamond, facets, and a diamond kind of thing. These do angle downward or upward, however you're having it. I don't know if there's a moment when it's just super straight. Let's see. So I barely like moved the stroke and it looks like it's still somewhat angled. Let's use the guide. I mean, you can use the guide to like super center it, if you needed to. Last page, okay. Petal, icing. This I'm so excited about. I don't know why. All the like wire, tune, and wire and icing, these are all similar brushes and they're all grouped together. Good job. Love it. So this is icing. Let's paint it in an icing looking color. Let's just do white icing, right? So that's the straight edge and it's got all this texture that I'm loving. It kind of reminds me of duct tape a little bit, how it has that texture, but this looks more like concrete. I know the name of it's icing, which when it's like that, it looks, like whipped cream icing or something, but it still has this texture and the first thing I thought of was, oh, concrete, something I need in some of my art pieces. This would be really cool for like making yeah, I don't have the steadiest hand over here. Making concrete pillars of some sort. This even looks like styrofoam, doesn't it? So concrete, styrofoam, icing, whipped cream. I want to see real quick if I can make a pillar because I'm actually in one of my pieces that have these. I made a gazebo and a fountain in blocks and transported them or imported them into tilt brush, and they take a lot of space because they're from blocks. I really like the concrete texture that I get from blocks as a architectural kind of structure, but it just takes up a lot of space, so that's not good. Let's see, what I want to do is see if I can replicate a pillar. Let's see, it's probably going to be about that size. The only thing is it has these points, so I would have to hide those, like, because it needs to be flat. So let's see here. Yeah, I'm kind of sick, that's why I'm not completely with it right now. Let's see. I struggled with these forever, like to resize them. So let me show it to you from the start. You get one, right? When you grab it, it highlights a certain part of the guide. So like if the ends are highlighted, because I have this other controller kind of on this direction, that's the part that I'm going to adjust. But if I turn it, okay, starting over again. So if I turn it here, I can choose what aspect of this guide I want to, change or grab onto. So, okay, this one. So that makes it wider. But once I grab onto it and choose that, I don't have that freedom anymore to just, like go around. So to change it while you still have it, you just click your side button like that. Pretty much you have to be on the side that you want to be on and do it like that. So anyways, just a quick tip there that I learned the hard way. So let's lock this. Now let me use the simple little pin thing. Oh, it's also here. So they added it right here. So that's pretty cool. And your pin. Okay. Dropper because I'm lazy and oops. I mean, that kind of looks like a pillar. So here, you can also use the trigger, like old school, right? Make it, and then I have the sides because I want to make it a little wider. Let's lock it axis-wise. Bring it up just a tad. In the middle, yeah. Right, so not as perfect as I can get it in blocks. But I'm assuming this does not take as much file space as a blocks object. Sketch cost low. I mean, if I were to have imported like even just a column this size from blocks, it would have already been like, up there. So we'll see. I might change out my gazebo using this. The only problem I see running into is like the roof part. I might have to use duct tape. I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. Moving on. Okay, so that's the icing brush. Next is going to be, and that's pretty cool that they're all grouped together because now you have, I know I said moving on, but all right, icing, tune, wire. So that's kind of the major differences between them. They're all the same shape. They all have the, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. They're all that shape with like that point. Spikes, lofted. These are similar except spikes is tapered at the end. So I'll use the straight edge. This is matte. Let's see if it casts a shadow. Yes, it does. I guess we could have looked on the ground too. So it casts shadow. It's light reflective, but it's matte. Lofted is the same as this, except it is tapered on both sides, like this. Why does it look like that? There we go. Okay, so it's similar on both sides. It's more tapered than this one. So this is more blunt compared to that, and this is more tapered compared to that one. So you can see it's a spike, and this looks like a, like a crystal, more or less. Let's make some crystals. So you can just do like, I mean, it is light reflective and, it casts shadow, but it's still pretty matte. So if you wanted to add like a shine or something, you could. Let's just say like you wanted to put something here, like very shiny reflective type thing. Oh, you can mix and match these like that. So yeah, really, really cool. Like natural crystals, of the earth. Love it. Look at that. Anyway, so those are both matte. They are they are light reflective, and we have Comet. So it starts from the downward pull. So this is actually where the front of it is. All right, that's cool. This one is really cool. It's got that whole 8 sides again. So 2, 4, 6, 8. And it's got the point, so they like to use that shape. It reminds me of like a blue flame on a stove or something, the pilot light. If anybody uses a gas stove. Or like a natural gas, a blue. But I mean, you could change it any color. Red, yellow. And this is with the straight edge on. So if you take it off, it's also freehand. So like if you wanted to put, like a shooting comet like that looks pretty cool. And they put the fire sound effect with it. This is like empty inside. So if we go into this, we're inside of it, and it looks really cool. It makes everything, have a shade because we're inside, obviously looking out. But yeah, you can go inside this thing. Like say you want to make like a warpy tunnel or something, and you can actually add stuff inside here. So you can draw within it if you wanted to put like maybe the rock, like say it's a comet, right? We'll use thick paint and make it look like some sort of a rock. Right, something like that. So now it looks like a comet. The next one we have are all these diamonds down here that are called hull. Shiny hull, matte hull, unlit hull. So that's like a marker. It's not light reflective. Diamond. This one is so pretty. So shiny is going to be like your wet paint. You can already see that it's reflective. and you're pushing out the sides. You can control the size of your push as well, but since I let go, I'm making a new kind of crystal thing. But if you see the points are smallest, that point is like the smallest, and you have to hold down the trigger. Once you let go, that's, your object. So you can add these, again, another crystal making brush. Now, if you notice, the push out that I had here was a lot wider. It's a lot wider than this push out because I had the brush on like really small. Here I had it on, a large size. So this one is definitely going to take some practicing because, you could just do whatever. But say you want it like let's say like you're making a diamond ring or something, and you want it to have exactly that shape of a diamond or a princess cut or whatever. It's going to take some practice to get that shape. So let me go to a lighter color. And again, oh, that's freehand, right? Can even like go into there. So again, I have it on the largest, and you see the push out it gives. It gives a very faceted edge. You know what I mean? Versus these points, like super fine with very few sides to it. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides with the very smallest brush size. So I'm creating a crystal here, or some kind of a jewel with pointy sides to it. And this is the result of using a large size brush. Very interesting. Again, like I said, lots of practice on this one. Because you can see it's not a perfect cut, I guess you can say, that's in it. Let's pull out a guide and see if that helps. Let's say I want to make a circular. I don't even know where to start. Let's see where okay, so it covers the whole circle, brush coverage circle. I don't really know what to call that. And it pulls, you see how it's pulling this open more? So if I stop right there, that would be the shape. But if I want to keep going and make a circle or a circular, I can keep going, but you have to hold down the trigger. You have to keep pressing it, right? All right, let's see what that did, because I think it made a super flat, oops, so annoying. A super flat, yep. So I made a super flat surface with the guide, with the cube, sorry. But my edges aren't the greatest. So like I tried to go around in a circle, but that's my freehand, so it's not going to be perfect. I'm interested to see what happens here. So I'm going to attempt to go around freehand in a perfect circle here. Yep, just like I thought. All right. Let me try to do that again, because you see how I was like wobbling back and up and down. So it's got this plane going super straight. It's got the shape perfect. So there's the same number of facets on each edge, like all the way around. But this is the freehand area that, if you're like super perfect, then kudos to you, but I'm not. So I have, comparing this one straight on, it's obviously more circular than this one, but the edges, let's try to catch that reflection. The edges are a little more uniform. As you can see, they're not as bumpy as this one, but it is a solid, like it's a solid object and it's 3D. It's thick. So that's what's cool. Let's see what happens when we go inside of it. Oh, wow. Very cool. You could scale this up and then go inside and kind of see where your ground is. We're inside this and you can probably draw in here. Yep. You can make a whole world inside here, like a cave or Superman's secret place. I forget what it's called, sorry. Very cool. And we all know Superman has crystals in his house. All right. Yeah. So cave time. Guys, definitely let me know like what your tips and tricks are with these. I'm like really interested in how to get those in the shape that you want them, you know. Organic is always good too, but you know, sometimes we want to make man-made architectural objects. So let's say we just did like a small of like the smallest stroke we could. It is literally the shape of a diamond. Okay. I guess there we go. That's how we can make the shape of a diamond. Um, you just have to have the straight edge on and make the smallest brushstroke. So let me show you that again. So here I'm making jewels a little bit. So on some of the brushstrokes, if you know, you could just press the trigger once and it gives you the smallest unit of that brushstroke. Oh, you know what this makes me think about? That planet that NASA says that it rains diamonds or crystals or something. Haha. Let's see who makes that first. Um, so yeah, there you go, some diamonds. So this one has an edge because I think I maybe like pulled it a little bit. Or it has a small edge, just like the slightest. So it's raining diamonds over here, guys. Let's put it white and see what happens. Hey, that's a different shape. Oh, what's going on there? That is like what, 8 or so? How did I do that? Huh. That's a real diamond, like a round one. Where did that come from? That's cool. I don't know what happened there. Well, anyways, if someone can figure it out, pass it on. How did that? All right. All right, so that is called shiny hole. And here's the matte. So it's still light reflective, like it gives you lighter sides, darker sides, shade, casts a shadow. But it's not shiny. It doesn't have that sheen that the light reflectives do. Unlit is literally like the markers. They're really bright and they don't have any reflections whatsoever, no shadows. They don't cast a shadow, they don't accept shadows. But on these it's kind of like with the markers. These three right here are the same. They don't accept light. But, you can add your own stuff on there. So it's just really hard to see, but I'm going to have another tutorial on how to create lots of depth illusion using these markered, and sorry, they have a better name here, the unlit surfaces. It's just like really difficult to find the actual edge. Sometimes I just go above a little bit and then you can see where you're at right here. Right, so something like that. So anyhow, that's that one. Moving on to my favorite one, and the last one is diamond. So can you see that? There's the diamond shape. Oh, it has 4 corners. It is translucent. It is shiny. It can make it. I'm on black, so let's go completely on white. A lot brighter, but it is translucent. Very, very pretty. You can make very, very pretty crystals with this. Now this is reminds me of the highlighter. So the more you overlap it, the brighter it gets. You could still see though that it is transparent. So yeah, that's really pretty. So if it's like raining diamonds or crystals or whatever, and you could do different, oops. Yeah. I mean, these would be like the smallest crystals. And you can also do freehand. Oh, but it does that same thing. That's the freehand on that. If you wanted to make like something, I don't know, but yeah, you can go inside this one as well. So for example, this is the cool thing. Like if you wanted to go in here in like your diamond, and you can make your details inside. Or if you want a more natural look inside the crystal, you can do, oops, something like Very fun. And I believe that's it to talk about on this. Just all the new brushes, the new little setup here, some new settings, and yeah, I think that's pretty much all. The beginner mode, I don't know, I won't go there. So I almost forgot, there is a new undo and redo feature with the thumb pad here. So if you just hold it down, it will continue to undo. And if you can also redo the same way. So if you just hold it down, it will just continue to redo. It used to be, you had to do it one at a time like that. But now we have this way. Now, I did hear them say something about being able to select everything at once, which I am super excited about if that's true, but I don't know where that would be. Yeah, I don't know. That's my review on the new brushes and kind of some ideas